Greetings, everyone, and welcome back again to the Frances Ellen Watkins Harper Collaborative Club First Holidays in Black Reading Series event. Welcome again. So, today we have a very special guest, Mrs. Robbin Gordon Cartier. Welcome.
It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. So, let's learn a little bit more about our special guest. I'll give you a hint. What's the instrument she's beside? Mrs. Robin Gordon Cartier is a teacher in the East Orange School District, where she directs the HARP program that she originally created for the Elizabeth School District. She started the North Jersey chapter of the American Harp Society. She serves as the president for 4 years and then moved to the national level as the second vice president and director at large. Robin continues to be sought after presenter for workshops across the country. Mrs. Gordon Cartier maintains a private studio where she teaches students of all ages and regularly freelances in the New York metropolitan area. Performance credits include appearances at Carnegie Hall and Alice Tooley Hall in New York City, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, the Pablo Casas Music Festival in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the National Symphony Orchestra of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. She has appeared on several television shows and recordings and at events honoring Lord Guinness, Cicely Tyson, and Sir James Galloway. Robin is a Salvi concert artist and presented master classes and a concert at the French ambassador's residence in Bogota, Colombia, for the Salvi Harp Foundation. Mrs. Gordon Cartier has a Bachelor's of Arts in Music Education and a Master's in Harp Performance from Montclair State University. As a young harpist, she spent 8 summers in Dublin, Ireland, studying at the Royal Irish Academy. She has been a recipient of numerous educational grants and awards, including the NAACP Educator Award, the NAN Fannie Lou Hamer, and the National Artist Teacher Fellowship Award from the Boston Arts Academy. Again, welcome Mrs. Robin Gordon Cartier. So it's such a pleasure to have you. And we want to know just a couple more things about you. So obviously, we know that you're a harpist, but
Yes.
what's your favorite book?
Well, I like a variety of types of books, but if I had to name one, I would say it's The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. And this book talks about a person named Ordinary who lived in the land of nobody and how he had to go on this journey kind of to find himself and to find his own dream. And it's just a real encouraging book about stepping outside yourself. And when I went to Santo Domingo to perform as first harpist and I was feeling just kind of nervous, I read this book on the plane. And it really just gave me such clarity as to it's okay to feel nervous, but keep going. It's okay to have people say, oh, you shouldn't do this. Oh, you can't do it. And to not be surprised when some of the people telling you don't follow your dream are the very people you thought would encourage your dream. And so it's just a great book. And even while it's a Christian based book, it's written for any type of person, and they've got it, the Dream Giver, for teens, for adults, for parents. And so it's just such a great series and a real positive influence for me.
I can tell, and it sounds good too. So, we know since you're a harpist, you have to read music. So, tell us, why is literacy important?
I tell you, literacy is almost as important as when we talk about, getting that first book and opening it, be it in your hands, or now we're opening everything on computers. It's just literacy to me equals possibility. If you can read and learn things, then possibilities are endless. If you can't, you only have what has already been put into you by other people. So literacy, both in reading, just opens worlds to you, and literacy in music means that you could play anything that anyone puts in front of you. And so while it's good to play from your ear and have fun and just kind of doodle around, being able to read the notes is equally as important because it just means you can do anything and you can go anywhere.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this program with us. And we cannot wait to read about this book. You all are in for a treat, so stay tuned.
I am so excited to be able to share this book with you. Not just because it was written about me, but I am excited and I'm sharing it with you so that you can even read along with me. This book is Robbin, the Girl Who Didn't Want to Practice by Dorothy W. Carey, illustrated by Lisa J. Michaels. Now, this book was written by a lady who met me during conferences, and she just wanted to know my story. And when I told it to her, she turned it into a book. So here we go, part one, the piano. Everybody in Robbin's family played a musical instrument. That's the way it was. Mom played the piano, Dad played the flute, her brothers played the drums. Each night after dinner, the sound of music filled the house. Sometimes her brothers hit the drums too hard and had to be shushed. Most of the time, the music flowed smoothly. Now it was Robbin's turn. She was 9 years old. It was time to begin. Piano. That was it. There was the big one that Mom played. Robbin would start taking lessons next week. Robbin didn't like the idea at all. She wanted to be outside playing with her friends. She wanted to be reading. She wanted to be goofing off. She didn't want to play the piano. Why? She asked her mother. Because, said her mother, because everyone in this family plays a musical instrument. I won't, Robbin said. She folded her arms. Her mother smiled at her. You will, she said. The very next week, Robbin started taking piano lessons. She hated every minute of it. She didn't like Mrs. Fisher, the piano teacher, who kept popping mints in her mouth. She didn't like the way Mrs. Fisher kept telling her what to do. Sit up straight, Robbin, Miss Fisher would say, and keep your hands like this on the keys. She lifted Robbin's hands so they touched the keys just so. Robbin hated practicing most of all. Can I stop now? Robbin asked as she ran her fingers up and down the scale. Soon, her mother replied. You've only been practicing for 5 minutes. 25 more to go. And so it went, every day, until Robbin came up with an idea. Robbin's mother was in the kitchen fixing dinner. Sounds of piano music filled the air. You're sounding good, Robbin, called her mother. The music went on and on and on. Too good, muttered Mom. She went into the living room, but Robbin wasn't there. On the piano bench, an old tape recorder was playing a tape. It was a tape Robbin made last week when Mom was out of the house. A soft spring breeze blew the curtains at the open window. Mom looked out at Robbin playing hopscotch with her friends. Robbin, she called. Robbin froze in her tracks. Caught. What's the problem? Mom asked when she sat down with Robbin. I don't want to play the piano, Robbin said. I don't like it at all. I hate the piano. Why? Asked Mom. Because I don't like the sound. I don't like the keys. I just don't like it at all. Okay, said Mom. What instrument would you like to play? Robbin thought hard for a minute. She didn't want to play any musical instrument, but everyone in the family played something. It was expected of her. Was there something unusual she could choose? Robbin thought of pictures she had seen in a music book at school. She thought of pictures of Revolutionary War soldiers with their fifes and drums. A drum! No, that was what her brothers played. A fife! No, that was like Dad's flute. She thought of pictures the teacher showed of Ireland. Harps! They were beautiful. She never saw one in school. She never saw one in town. She never saw one in the music store. She never had seen one in person anywhere. Perfect choice. A harp, she said, and smiled at her mother. Mom sighed. Robbin kept smiling. Maybe she would be safe from music lessons. It worked. Piano lessons were canceled. Robin had lovely spring days doing just what she wanted to do. She played with friends. She ran with the wind. She jumped rope. She played tag. She read books under the trees. She didn't have to practice. Part two, the harp. Spring days passed quickly into summer days. School was over until September. Robin had plans for the summer, trips to the seashore, playing ball with friends, swimming at the pool, movies and popcorn, so many things to do, so many wonderful days ahead. Until the day that Dad said, "We have a great surprise for you. We're going for a short ride." Robin wondered what the surprise could be. Dad stopped in front of a house in another neighborhood. Robin wondered why were they stopping here for her surprise. An older lady answered the door and took Robin's hands in hers. "How nice to meet you," she said. "I am sure we'll spend many happy hours together." Robin's mouth dropped open. Was this her surprise? And why would she be spending any time at all with this lady? "Robin," her father said, "this is Mrs. Leone. She's going to teach you how to play the harp." "Oh," Robin said, "the harp?" "Come along," said Mrs. Leone. "Let me show you your new harp." My new harp was all Robin could say. Mine? "Yes, yours. Your mother told me how much you wanted to play the harp. This is a harp I had for many years." "Mine now?" asked Robin. "How?" "Your parents wanted to buy a harp and I wanted to sell one." "Oh," was all Robin could say. The harp was almost as tall as Robin's father. There was a curve along the top, another curve was in the front. A straight column ran from the base to the top. Strings ran from top to bottom. It was big. What a surprise. Mrs. Leone ran her finger over some strings. "That's called a glissando," she said. She smiled at Robin. "Soon you'll be doing that." Robin gasped. Her harp? Mrs. Leone would be her teacher? "I'll see you every week for lessons," Mrs. Leone said, "and you can practice every day." Practice every day again? Mrs. Leone told Robin about the harp strings. She showed Robin how to place her hands and how to sit. Robin already knew how to read music. Piano lessons had taught her that. Piano and harp music are almost the same. Robin was in a daze. Mrs. Leone showed her parents how to change strings when they broke. She told them how to tune it. She explained how to carry it. "Now," said Mrs. Leone, "you can take your harp home." Her mom and dad put the harp in the back of the van. All Robin could think of was practice every day. And so it began. Robin went to Mrs. Leone's house once a week for lessons. She thought she had put an end to playing a musical instrument. Now she was right back to practicing, but on a harp. She still hated practicing. It was dull. Soft days of summer were calling to her. She heard the voices of her friends playing outside. She remembered to sit up straight. She remembered to keep her thumbs up. She was careful to have her arms in the right position, but she still hated it. She had to be reminded and coaxed to sit down and practice. Her fingers were getting calluses from the harp strings. All she wanted was to escape outside and be with her friends. Robin wondered what could she do to end all this musical nonsense. Summer months flew by. Soft summer breezes turned to chill autumn winds. One day Mrs. Leone had an announcement. "There's going to be a recital, Robin. You're going to be in it," said Mrs. Leone at the next lesson. "No, I can't do that," said Robin. "Not in front of an audience." "Of course you can," said Mrs. Leone. "You're doing very well." Robin felt a knot in her stomach. "I won't," she said, "and I can't." "You'll do fine," said Mrs. Leone. "Let's try Londonderry Air. It's so lovely on the harp." Mrs. Leone played the song for Robin. It sounded familiar. Robin remembered another song for the name for the song, Danny Boy. Mrs. Leone went over the fingering and the notes. Robin suddenly had an idea. She smiled as she planned her escape from music. Practicing had to continue. If it didn't, her parents would suspect something. The song came together easily for Robin. Sometimes her mother would stop working so she could sit and listen to the beautiful melody. Robin played the harp carefully every day because now she knew what to do so nobody would want her to take music lessons ever again. She practiced in the morning before school, she practiced in the afternoon after school, and she hated every minute of it. Part 3, the recital. The day of the recital was clear and beautiful. Robin didn't notice. She could only think that finally the big day had arrived. The day she would be freed from practice. The day she would be able to convince her parents that she was not a musician. She had a plan for the day. She sat at the harp and started by warming up. Some scales, some arpeggios. For the arpeggios, she plucked her fingers up and down the strings. The sound was clear and sounded like bells ringing. London Derriere was next. The notes came easily to her fingers now. It was as though her fingers remembered the notes. As she played, she thought of the words to the melody. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. It was an old Irish song. She remembered it from music class in school. The music was pretty. As much as she hated practice, Robin liked the way the melody sounded on the harp. Her mother was getting ready for the party this afternoon. Some family members and friends would be there to help celebrate Robin's first recital. Cake, ice cream, all kinds of good food. Robin felt a little guilty about her plan for the recital. Maybe it would embarrass her family. Maybe they'd feel sorry for her. Or maybe they'd be angry at her. But she would do anything to get out of practicing. Nothing could stop her now. Robin, time to get ready, called her mother. Her mother helped her put on her new red dress and had a ruffle around the bottom and would look good when she played the harp on stage. Robin smiled. Oh, yes, she was ready to stop practicing forever. The recital was being held in the school auditorium. Parents and friends of music students would be there. It would be crowded. That would make Robin's plan work perfectly. She would begin by playing perfectly as she had done when she practiced. Then she'd really mess up by playing wrong notes. Her parents would realize she wasn't a musician, and then finally she'd be done with practicing forever. Her dad and her brothers helped put the harp in the van. It was big and heavy, but they got it in the van quickly. The school auditorium was beginning to fill up with people when Robin and her parents arrived. The harp was placed on the stage near harps of 2 other student performers. It just needed a last-minute tuning. Robin was used to tuning the harp. Now, the harp was so tall, she just needed some help with the upper strings. Her family always took turns helping her with that. There would be other music performances. There were 5 piano students and 2 other harp students. Robin would be the last to perform. The piano students were good. Robin enjoyed their performances. The harp students were good too, but Robin secretly thought she could play better than they did. Except tonight. When it was her turn, Robin walked onto the stage and looked at the audience. So many people. She suddenly felt nervous. Would she be able to play? Could she even begin playing correctly? She sat down on the harp bench and pulled the harp down toward her. All the practicing made it easy for her fingers to remember where to go and what notes to play. Robin relaxed and placed her fingers on the strings. As her fingers plucked the strings, she was caught up in the melody. The harp had its own voice, and the music seemed to float throughout the room. Robin was startled by a sound that began to fill the auditorium. The audience was humming along with her music. Robin suddenly knew that she couldn't purposely make mistakes. Not now. There was loud applause when Robin finished playing. She bowed gratefully to the audience. She was glad she hadn't played any wrong notes. Her mom and dad congratulated her, and people said nice things about the music. Robin thought it was kind of funny that she had messed up on messing up. She would keep taking harp lessons and practicing. Somehow it didn't seem so bad anymore. A little girl came up to her and looked at her in awe. "How did you learn to play the harp so well?" she asked. Robin thought for a minute. She smiled at the little girl and gave her a big hug. Robin answered with one word: practice. And that's the story of how I became to play this harp. And I'm telling you, I'm really glad I did. So I'm encouraging to parents and to kids. If your parents say do something, do it. And parents, if the kids say they don't want to do it, make them do it anyway. The harp has taken me all over the world, and I'm blessed to live in East Orange, to teach in East Orange, and bring a bunch of students along with me.